Hi, grade sixes. I want to show you just a few or two handy tricks when it comes to addition and subtraction. So this can be found in your fill-in book on page 102. So just to explain what we're doing here, we're doing normal plus and minus sums, and these sums, as you can see on the page in front of you, are actually not so difficult to do, but you might need column method to add them underneath each other. But there's a shortcut that you can use to turn it into a quick mental calculation. So if I ask you to do 76 plus 8, I realize that 8 is very close to 10, and plussing 10 is very easy. So I can turn this into a sum that just says 76 plus 10, right? But if I'm going to plus 10 now, then how much extra did I add? I added 2 more than I should have. So then I'm going to have to minus 2, but minusing 2 is also very easy. So I know it looks longer, but eventually you're going to do this in your head, not on paper. So if I'm going to plus 8, why don't I just plus 10? 76 plus 10 is then 86, and then minus 2. 86 minus 2. Let me do this step for step. So this is then going to be 86. And if I do 86 minus 2, I'll get 84. Okay, so I'm writing it out step for step, but in the end, you can do this mentally. So same is going to happen when I try 81 plus 19. Instead of plussing 19, why don't I just plus 20? So I'm going to do 81 plus 20. But if I plus 20, that means I did 1 more than I should have. So I'm going to have to subtract 1 to make up for that. So this is then going to be 81, 91, 101. And then I must just subtract 1 to make up for that. So that's 100. So imagine just doing this in your head quickly. It'll speed things up quite a bit. You'll see I'm not using equal signs. I'm using arrows. That's just to make sure that it is still mathematically correct. In all fairness, in the way I'm doing it now, an equal sign would not be wrong. It would still be equal. All right, next one. If I plus 28, I'm going to instead, it's quite close to 30. So you just go to the closest whole number. So now I'm going to say 63 plus 30 instead. But if I plus 30, I have plus 2 too many. So I'll need from 28. So I'll need to minus 2. That's going to be 93. And then I'll just subtract 2 from there, which is 91. You see, quite easy, hey? And we can do the same for minus. We must just keep in mind that then it's the opposite way around. Let me use red for this. So now 9 is quite close to 10, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 286, and instead of minusing 9, I'm going to minus 10. But I now minused 1 more than I should have. So I must now plus 1. Do you see how that differs from when we were plussing? So if we added too many, we need to subtract to make up for that. If we subtract too many, we need to add to make up for that. So just doing this quickly would mean 286 minus 10 is 276. And then I'll plus 1 to that, and that'll be 277. Okay. 154. Okay, if I minus 27, the closest round number is going to be 30. So why don't I just minus 30? But to make up for that, I've added, I have to add 3 back, right? And 154 minus 30 is 124. And 124 plus a 3 will be 127. And this one's close to 20, right? So I can do 593. I'll then minus 20, which is easy to do. And then I must just plus 2 to make up for that. And so this is going to be 573 plus 2 is how I'm going to make up for that. So that'll be 575. Okay, so now that I've written it out like this, I hope you understand the concept, and I want you to try those ones in the book by simply doing it in your head. The book does say show how you did it, so you can either write it out in a row like I did, Or if you're quick, you can just do them in your head and write down your answers. So remember, this is also called compensating, which means you prefer to go to the nearest whole number first and then just make that small adjustment. Look at how small the adjustments actually were. If you look at this, -2, -1, -2. So it's much easier than having to add and carry over. So just to show you, if I were to do, let's look at this last sum. If I were to not use this compensating method, and if I were to just do normal long minusing, what would have happened is I would have said 593 minus 18, and then I'd have to borrow from the 9, which becomes an 8, and borrow from the and then say 13 minus 8, and then I'll have to say, okay, that's 5. 8 minus 1 is 7, and 5 minus nothing is 5. So it's a slightly longer thing to do. Those of you who feel very uncomfortable with this compensating method, try it for today in your fill-in book on page 102. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it again. If you get it, you might find it handy to do sometimes when you want to work out an answer quickly.